Hello, my name is Tim Bernard and this is Beyond the Headlines, where we take a much more in-depth and different look at what is going on because we are not the bought-off press. This is my website where there's hundreds of hours of free documentaries and video clips. There's also, I put up probably 50 to 70 maybe new articles every week on a wide range of topics, a bunch of health news, a lot of economic news. We got a bunch of clips and stuff to play, so let's just get right into it here. These guys have 7-figure contracts and they just read their script, and if they deviate from the script, then they're replaced because there's plenty of people waiting in the wings who will just read the script. And this was a former CIA director under Ronald Reagan, came out of the OSS, out of World War II. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. And Obama, he is CIA, his grandparents were, his mother were. We've done stuff on that before. Bush Sr. was the head of the CIA. But we are the resistance, the V, from the Vietnam War, also going back to the partisans in the Second World War, marking V's, just to let people know, and it actually goes back even farther than that. We are in what they call, this is the people who are bringing this forward, the first global revolution. This is a book they wrote. It's free online, because this is how the game has to be played. They tell you what they're going to do. That's how it works, see, because they're trying to play God. God tells you not only what's going to happen, how to achieve the best outcome, and you are free to choose between the devil's system or God's system. And we are coming to you from Global Region 1, FEMA District 10. Like I say, you can check it out on my website, and those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. As our Lord said, it would be just like in the days of Noah. And here we are right now. This is going on here in about a week or so in Northern California. They're doing a mock sacrifice of a child there in front of that owl. That's what's going on here. And a lot of our ruling elites have been there. A lot of presidents have been there. They've written about it in their memoirs. This isn't like maybe. This is a real deal. It goes on every year. Just look it up. Bohemian Grove. And this is from their own anal right here. This picture. This is the lake where they bring the child in an effigy. And then you can see the clowns, the priests up behind the altar there. But now let's take a quick look at what really goes on in there. Here it is.
David Gergen, top presidential advisor to Ford, Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, and Bill Clinton. We couldn't believe our luck. It just so happens that David Gergen is also a prominent member of the Bohemian Grove, the offshoot of Skull and Bones. This insider of insiders, a staple of the White House for 22 years, got very upset when we brought up Bohemian Grove to him. He didn't deny its existence. He didn't deny that he was a member. He didn't deny the rituals. He just became angry and didn't act very gentlemanly.
Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Great owl of Bohemia, we thank thee for thy adjuration.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials
I'm
there,
sorry,
so
you took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film. And did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them
Yes,
up after.
Oh, I'm
I just
sorry.
walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
Sir, everything I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you,
ever
and goodbye.
been in the ritual?
That's none of your damn business.
Oh.
Now, you think that might be news because of the leaders who go there, who have been there, the Bushes have been there. Anyway, it's so sick and demonic. But this is the world we live in. The musical composer for The Passion reveals he suffered satanic attacks. This is a spiritual battle. If you don't know that you're in a spiritual battle, it's because you're doing what the devil wants. Because he'll remain hidden. His number one tactic is I don't exist. His number two tactic is I'm not attacking you. And then what he wants is, then he would like to be center stage. And that's where he's moving towards, is center stage. Because for a little while, just as it says in the book of Revelation, they will be given a time for 3.5 years completely. And we'll get more into that in a minute. Here's a game that is being played. I guess it's a big deal on the internet, similar to the Ouija board called Charlie Charlie. Just look it up and you can see if you open a portal, they'll come in. Because that's what the prophecies too are about this time. There's more demonic activity and the demons are stronger than at any time in history. But we are given the grace to fight it if we simply ask God. Ask our Lord, plead the blood of Jesus Christ. They have no power over you. You have to give it to them. They can't commit the sin. They can bring it and put it in front of your face. But you have to commit it. You have to do it. So do not play with the other side, because they will come in. And it's everywhere around us in the media. Everywhere. We're surrounded by it. Here's California mandates second grade school lessons on gay relationships. They don't care about gay people. They're doing this to destroy the fabric, to divide people away from God. It's written in the Bible that this is what we would see. This is not the end of the world, it's the end of an age. We're actually on the front end, we're almost to a period of peace. But do not be deceived. The purification is what we're heading into. And the reason I had to block out with this little girl, this was a show on HBO. This is a little girl drinking out of a water bottle, and it's shaped just like male genitalia. I mean, it's totally disgusting what is going on. And the top advisor for Pope John Paul II warns of a cabal undermining the church with backing from within. I've shown you clips before of when Cardinal Ratzinger or Pope Benedict XVI left, how so many cardinals wouldn't even shake his hand. And that was part of what he was going after, is to try to clean up the church. These are the prophecies, though, that the church, the Vatican is going to become the seat of the Antichrist. That's Catholic prophecy. The Protestants didn't figure that out. Bill 13 is about tackling misogyny. Taking away a woman's right to choose could arguably be one of the most misogynist actions that one could take. Well, we'll take a look at what's going on. What about the child's rights? Because this is a child that they are killing. What about the child's right? You can wait just a few months. I mean, we just looked at them. Satan loves the sacrifice of innocence. And a child in the womb is the most innocent there is. And here's another one. It is unfortunate that some of our concerns regarding Bill 13 were not addressed in the final version of this legislation, but as part of Ontario's strong and vibrant public-funded system, Catholic school boards will comply with what will now be law. See, this is all about taking over religion and destroying the church from within by taking government money. I showed you before how the bishops are taking $89 million to help with some programs that they were administering. Not even understanding that they're just being used and duped to help bring down the country and bring down the church. You cannot make a deal with the devil. There should be, the church does not need to take any money from the government. That needs to be split. But it's sold as humanitarian and doing things. And this is just a complete, the church in Canada used to be so strong. And now it is literally falling apart. Here's some of the stuff that they want to have them hand out. More equitable and inclusive for all people. I mean, when did we talk? There's no need to even get in to the sexual stuff I mean, they're getting, like the article from last time, at 5 years old. They're in kindergarten here in Washington. They're starting to promote this stuff. And it's all to separate people from God. It's all to destroy their morals. Because they're going to kill the gay people too. Because that's their whole thing, is to get rid of most of the people in the world. Here's an Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association guy who helped to sell out the Canadian church. Now, Putin here, we're getting close to war. Because as things go down the tubes, what they want to do is to show things that get you to look away from the economic collapse. And it's like our founding fathers said, war is used to consolidate power. And this is a bill that he signed restricting religious freedom. And of course, we've got it all over the place in America. And people in America are talking like, oh, we're so free. Who are you kidding? They're suing people, bakers and stuff, for just not wanting to make a cake. That's not an essential service to someone who's gay. And the gay people don't care. They went into the bakery, and they won't go into Muslim bakeries. So you want to check that out sometime, because they're afraid. The left has wedded with the Islam to help bring down Christianity. But they need to understand most of the left, almost all of them, they're gone too. They'll be gone. There's only going to be, the ruling elite only want a few. About 500 million is our own stuff from the Georgia Guidestones. We do stuff on that all the time. But let's take a look at Putin warning us, and our media will not talk about this. Here it is.
I cannot help asking those who have caused this situation, do you realize now what you've done?
Speaking nearly a month ago, President Vladimir Putin at the International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg, Russia, warned the group of international journalists there repeatedly that Europe, the United States, and Russia were drifting towards full-scale war.
We know year by year what's going to happen, and they know we know. It's only you that they tell these fables and you buy it and spread it to the citizens of your countries. Your people do not feel a sense of the impending danger. This is what worries me. How do you not understand that the world is being pulled in an irreversible direction? That is the problem. But they pretend like nothing's going on. I don't even know how to get through to you people anymore.
And the big news is, a month later, almost a month later, after we first reported on it, in mid-June, there has been almost no Western coverage of it at all. And that's exactly what Putin was getting at. Whether you love Putin or hate Putin, if the leader of Russia, with thousands of intercontinental ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, is telling the West, I don't know how to get through to you, your media is controlled, you're being manipulated, NATO is putting missiles on our borders, we're having to move missiles in, you've overthrown Ukraine, you're on an offensive, you're funding and protecting radical Islam, do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've done, as he said at the UN, destabilizing the Middle East? Why are you doing this? Where are the sound minds across the political spectrum who should be stopping this? Russia has 3 overseas military bases. You have hundreds. You have your spies inside our country trying to overthrow it. You have your CIA people trying to get into our embassies. You are at war with us. And the average American, the average European, the average Brit is not aware of this.
Another threat that President Obama mentioned was ISIS. Well, who on earth armed them? Who helped to arm the Syrians that were fighting against Assad? Who created the necessary political climate that facilitated this situation? Who pushed for the delivery of arms to the area?
But the issue of a major world leader saying that we're moving to the brink of war, and it's not in our news, that's the big story. It shows how incredibly controlled things are. Please spread this video far and wide, and hopefully it will spur a debate that can cause some type of chain reaction that reverses our course, or at least changes our course from assured Armageddon. But they will pay attention when we, the people, force the issue. And we are forcing the issue on this, as well as many other issues going on here in the United States and around the world. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. If you're watching or listening to this transmission, you are the hope. You are the resistance.
And 23 states now have sued Obama over the transgender bathroom mandate. And here's another problem at Target. Target transgender voyeur had recorded several girls undressing. And of course they've lost, the last time we had a count, it was over $10 billion because they've embraced this whole, it's the whole deal. Here's Obama. JFK said, hey, let's put a man on the moon. Obama says, hey, we need men in girls' bathrooms. If you can't see the problem there, well, you're probably still not watching. There we go. Yeah, so it's over 10 billion. Here was a guy from Virginia who was arrested for allegedly molesting an 11-year-old girl. Our Lord sees what's going on. There will be change. The earth will be purified. We are coming into a reign of the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the Sacred Heart of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And it'll be a Eucharistic reign. But first that'll be rejected. Here's a man who's been building a cathedral by hand for the last 53 years. So there is a lot of good going on at this time. Here's Our Lady of Good Success, Satan will reign almost completely. That's what's coming. There'll just be little pockets around the world, and they've already been being set up. Come from the Masonic sects, will be one of the driving force behind this. This was specifically pointed to the 20th century, 4 centuries ago, in the early 1600s. These were church-approved apparitions that talk about this, and then it talks about the decadence, the corruption, and it goes, woe to the children of these times. And she also mentions that the times will be worse because those who should have spoken out, that's not only political leaders, but religious leaders, will fall silent. Because you don't hear anything about this stuff. Nothing. I mean, but we are living in the time of the book of Revelation. The key to opening the book of Revelation is Alpha and Omega, first and last. And in 1999, this priest got that cross on his forehead, and the Vatican checked him out just like that. He now has the full stigmata. And before, if you think that, oh, well, that shows that he's on the dark side, maybe you better read the Bible. Check in the 6th chapter. We're marked first before they are. We're only marked in the forehead because we have to believe in God. The 4 angels have been sent to the 4 corners of the earth. So you ought to be thinking about this. This happened 17 years ago. Next year is going to be that great sign in the skies. The constellation that hasn't been around in 7,000 years. Right from the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation. This is from La Salette. The church will be eclipsed. At first, we will not know which is the true pope. Then secondly, the holy sacrifice of the Mass will cease. It will be outlawed because this is the real Mass, and that you can find that spoken of not only in the book of Revelation, but also the 12th chapter of Daniel, where the daily sacrifice is suspended for 3.5 years. It's going to go underground. This is what's coming. And hey, this is our buddy Hillary. You know, she's as the Secretary of State. Imagine what she's going to do for us if we're unfortunate enough to have her become president. Oh yeah, party on, dude, party on. And Hank Paulson, of course, one of the thieves from the Republican and Bush administration, is, oh yeah, I like Hillary because of her globalist platform. Because they want to sell out the country. Goldman Sachs, that's who he was the CEO for. That's who supports Hillary. Because she'll continue to sell our country out. That's who they want. Hillary is bought and paid for. Hell, Bernie sold out. Oh, this is a great little cartoon. Do you swear to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States? And there's Hillary going, I do. And they all just laugh. I mean, and people don't know what Bill has done. I mean, holy mackerel, people knew. Hillary's America, the secret history of the Democratic Party. I mean, most people don't realize that the Democratic Party was the party of segregation. I mean, but and how have the blacks done under Obama with the Democrats running the show? Oh, their unemployment has skyrocketed. Of course it has. Who better to screw you than one of your own kind? That's why they want Hillary, the women. This is a scientific, technological elite. And Trump just got Pence. I mean, no one's here saying that he's going to be perfect. There's no way he could be as bad as Hillary. But whether or not he can stop the whole thing, this is his VP pick, Mike Pence, who has supported TPP, which should be abolished. I mean, Trump says he should abolish it, but Obama said he was going to abolish NAFTA. And of course, he never did. And we played clips back when Obama was starting, where he'd say that at his rallies and stuff to the people, and then the Canadians and other people got excited, and then they we got the documents where he told them privately that, don't worry, that's just political talk, it's just campaign rhetoric. Because most of these people are nothing but liars. I think the only thing probably about Donald, as you'll see in a clip coming up, is that he's not a part of the system. Let's listen to Gingrich say it in his own thing. He's never been to Bohemian Grove. Here it is.
But I think Mitt represents personally the panic of the establishment wing of the party. And I think they all hoped, held their breath through Super Tuesday. It didn't work. And now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party. And it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. And I think that they don't see him. They have no idea how to relate to him. And they don't want to pay attention to him.
We really think that there's a very good chance that they're going to try and stop the election. The Republicans floated that idea in 2004 and 2008 when they were in power, because these people worship power and control. That's what they're all about. Here's Obama, because like I said, they have to tell you in advance what they want to do. Here's Obama in his own words just a couple months ago.
Mr. President, the podium is yours.
You can't say it, but you know it's true. Good evening, everybody. It is an honor to be here at my last, and perhaps the last, White House Correspondents' Day. You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better.
And now here is just a little bit of some intel we got being laid out by Margaret. Here we go.
That falls in line with hacked messages of the Black Lives Matter leader, these messages actually reveal that the administration has a plan for a summer of chaos and even martial law. I want to read you some of these hacked messages. And on Friday, June the 10th, someone hacked into the Twitter account of hashtag Black Lives Matter, the leader and former Baltimore mayoral candidate, DeRay McKesson. And this is what was leaked, according to this one document, this interaction where the Attorney General, it's alleged that the Attorney General is planning a summer of chaos to cause disruption at the conventions and ultimately institute martial law. Now, this exchange of messages between DeRay McKesson and a lady named Johnetta Elzie, this is what the conversation included. J.E., have you spoken with Ms. Lynch, Attorney General, recently about the plan for summer and fall leading up to the elections? To which he replies, we spoke 2 weeks ago. They want us to start really pushing how racist Trump is now instead of waiting so that others can start getting the protests ready to shut both conventions down. Then the conversation continues. If we can get both conventions shut down for messing over Bernie and for having racist Trump, then get martial law declared so Obama can stay in office, we will win. Call you soon when I get to my dad's so I can have his landline and we can talk about this more. So the summer of chaos that they're speaking of, they go on to detail how they're busing people in to create riots. 2,000 people bussed in from different cities and another 6,000 to 8,000 expected to drive into Cleveland for the convention. They're hoping to cause such mass chaos that martial law has to be declared, possibly even not an election. Who knows? But at least Obama gets to stay in office, according to these leaked tweets between the two of them regarding our own U.S. Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. Now, this goes hand in hand with the nationalized police force pilot program that's being instituted currently. And if martial law is declared, we might not even see an election.
And of course, you don't hear anybody talking about, there's all the Black Lives Matter. Do they talk about, here's a black pro-life leader, and they have a lot of guts when they speak out. the black community does not like him and the leaders don't like him. Planned Parenthood kills over 266 unarmed black lives each day. Each day. Okay? And not only that, over half of black pregnancies end in abortion. They've destroyed the black family. It used to be much more cohesive. This was a plan. You should read some of the writings of Lyndon Johnson. The Great Society, he hated blacks. But how better to screw you than to pretend you're for them? The good news, 1 in 4 U.S. Muslim youths approve of suicide bombings. Yeah, just bring them all in. And the thing is, see, is they'll bring them all in, and then they can do false flags and just blame it on the Muslims. And at the very least, they can coddle and push them along and let them do it. This is a very sophisticated system, but it's very simple because it's been done throughout history. False flag operations. Remember, the Christians burned Rome. No, Nero burned Rome and blamed the Christians. That's how it's always worked. Here's the head of the French police. Migrant sex assaults could trigger civil war. Gee, no kidding. I mean, it's a complete disgrace what's going on over there. And of course, we've had some of the German leaders going, well, you just need to be raped. That's liberal. That's progressive. If these guys want to rape you, let them. Hell, remember just over the border in Idaho. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. No, we might offend somebody. Here's a migrant teens walk free in Sweden from the ferry rape case. Here's a migrant who licked, groped girls' laughs as he walks free. Hey, if someone like me does that, well, I showed you the pictures of the perverts in Target. Oh, but if you're a Muslim, oh, go ahead. That's part of your culture. Yeah, I know. I understand that. And you need to understand just how crazy things are. In the 18 to 29 range, this is the percent of the population that's Muslim. See, while the overall is much smaller, I mean, in France, look, it's already a third of the population. Muslim support for suicide bombing by country. In our country, it's 13%.
That you are powerful. You can make a whole difference in 2016. You can change the reality of our time. This is the time for us as American Muslims to be in the front, not to retreat, because all of you are leaders. Your votes are your negotiating power in the year 2016. Turn your centers, Islamic centers, mosques, into registration centers for voters. Black Lives Matter is our matter. Black Lives Matter is our campaign.
Basically, you are the new black people of America. If we don't stand, you will see Muslims murdered in the streets. We are the community that staged a revolution across the world. If we could do that, why can't we have that revolution in America?
And that was for all, but a quarter, as I said, of the young ones. But now this is the actual numbers of how big they are in society. They're still not that big, even though Obama's just bringing them in, and they don't bring any Christians in, the people who are being persecuted in Syria and Baghdad, or in Iraq. This is 30% of children aged 20 and younger are Islamic. This is over in France. And in Nice, where they just had the bombing, it's up around 45% of people 20 and under. So what do you think is going to happen in just a few years? These people are all moving into military age. And that's primarily who's being brought in. This is a takedown. And the Muslims are going, hey, before we tried to conquer you, we had to come in and fight and you fought back. Now you're so weak, you're going to pay us to come in and take over your country, and our religious leaders are supporting it. That's what's going on. Wake up. This is a complete disgrace. Oh, but it's so holy. It's so holy and loving. They don't give a damn about you. They're going to take you. They're going to take your pension. You're so worried about your damn pension, it ain't going to be there because they're going to take it. The people who you will not stand up to, they are going to take everything you got. But you shouldn't worry so much about that. You should worry about when you stand before the man with the holes in his hands. You shall be judged far worse than the sheep that you led to the slaughter. Here's the fertility rate. This is all by design being taken down. This is a eugenics operation. Look into it. That's all they talk about. Facebook puts up massive Black Lives Matter banner at the headquarters following the Dallas shootings. Facebook is helping Germany crack down on anti-Islam speech. Zuckerberg is a sellout. I mean, I have a little page, but I don't use it on Facebook. That's what it is. Facebook. Everyone should get off of it or just stop using it. That's what really needs to happen. The ultimate mowing machine. Yeah, this is. They were forewarned that this was going to happen, and they were just lackadaisical about it. I mean, and this is sad. This is what went on. These people are ruthless. And if you think you can appease them by bending over, they think that's a sign of weakness. I've played the clips of them talking about that. In America, they talk about it. We're going to take over. We breed more than you do. You fools. The blacks. I mean, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? And here's a little girl. So many are going to be lost. So many. You'll wake up when the glove comes off the iron fist. That's Bill Clinton's mentor in Tragedy and Hope. I don't have that book here. The Dallas and the Leftist Islamic Alliance. This is what's going on. They've wedded, and the left is in for a rude awakening that they're just being pawns. I was talking to a guy who was telling me, oh yeah, and I said, dude, they're going to take you guys down. Well, I don't live in society. Oh, do you think they care? They want to get rid of you even more. Just watch. And here's the France must learn to live with terrorism. That's what the French PM Valls says after the Nice attack. And then we have another report about how France suppressed testimony about torture at that concert hall back in December where they shot up. And remember earlier I was talking to you about the devil and Don't Open the Thing? The very song that they were singing when the attack broke out is to kiss the devil. And the devil just smiled and said, amen, brother, I'll kiss you guys. And here's how I kiss. With rape, murder, chaos. He loved it. Just keep singing. Just keep bringing me in. You fools. Because misery loves company. He hates your guts. And he wants you to suffer for eternity just like he is. That's in Scripture. Read it. In the 12th chapter. Food stamps is one of the ways they're going to take over. And some illegal aliens enjoy food stamp advantage over U.S. citizens. I mean, this is how insane it all is. And they're just laughing at how foolish we are. The most surprising result of my career, this was a Harvard guy who studied this, and he said his study finds no evidence of racial bias in police shootings. This was a black professor. He was going to go and show this, here's the report, here's all the evidence. Oh, I guess it's not. But the race pimps, Sharpton, Jackson, and, oh, do you ever hear Sharpton or Jackson talking about the genocide in the womb? The most dangerous place for a black child is in the womb. Check it out. Oh, and here's this losers. All of a sudden now, oh, I plan to build a border. I'm on board with all that's going on. If they don't get rid of this loser, I sent a couple bucks to the guy running against him. This guy is a rhino, a complete traitor. He's not even an American. He's a globalist. They own both parties. There's no difference. The Center for Disease Control, Zika virus, a bit scarier than we initially thought. Well, yeah, because it looks like it's been genetically engineered. Oh, we move along. We don't want to talk about that. Giant super rats resistant to pesticides invading urban communities. This is over in Europe right now. Look at the size of that thing, man. There's a hellhole coming. The smartest thing that the Brits did is to try and get out of the European Union. We'll see if they are actually able to. A nation which expects to be ignorant and free and in a state of civilization expects that which never was and never will be. And the author of 1980, or not 1984, but Brave New World, you should read him giving a speech to the people at Berkeley, the future shrinks and psychologists. It's online, just check it out. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. If you don't warn the people, their blood, not could, will be on your hands. And I'm talking to all you leaders, whether you're secular or religious. I don't expect the religious leaders to lead, but I don't expect them to stuff their head in the sand, and in many cases, through feigned ignorance, to actually promote our destruction. And Soros is funding the opposition that's going on, whether it was Ferguson or right now at the Republican Party convention. And here's Einstein: the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. And then this is Goring talking about going to war and how easy it is. I'd urge you to look that up. The bankster takeover continues and just rolls on. That's who sits on top. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes its laws. And they are master manipulators behind the scenes. They're doing everything to try and derail Trump. And I'd be a little leery about who his running mate is. At least it wasn't Gingrich. So here's over in Japan. Right now, you can see how the government bonds are just going down. But an interesting thing, they're showing there's still ways to make money, and it's because they'll buy the bonds back, and it's virtually a no risk. And that's what's going on. So much money, it's just paper trading instead of going into producing jobs. They just play paper games and trade paper back and forth. And as we see, that's why the wealth gap is going, and that's why the stock market is going through the roof. I've shown you because of all the buybacks and stuff. They're just trading money, just playing games. But it's just a bubble that's going to pop. And this shows the bottom 90% of earners and the top 1% of earners. And what you can see, a clear break here. That's when Nixon ends the gold standard for the globalists. It's always been about the money. That's what our country was really founded on. It had nothing to do with the tax. Nothing. It all had to do with, as Rothschild said, the issuance of money. You can look that up. Check out Oz. That's a documentary on money. On my website, I've got tons of great stuff, or one of the best documentaries. If you really want to know what's going on, watch All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. That's also listed in my section. Here's Deutsche Bank, much bigger than Lehman. Look at how it's following it down. And when Deutsche Bank goes, there's a collapse coming. They're going to try and push it off if they can until after the election to try to get Hillary in. And here's U.S. inflation. See, there's the Fed being created. It's been flat. And if you want to take a look at history, type in Andrew Jackson kills the bank. We've had several of these private banks. And Jefferson said, I fear bankers far more than standing armies. Far more. Because it's the bankers who fund them and make us pay for them. And that's another one of our founding fathers, it was either Madison or Adams, said that war is a known instrument used by the elite to enslave the masses. Check it out. UK property prices are finally starting to pop. The percent of Americans who always or mostly trust the government, you can see it's been on a steady decline. These are the different presidents up on top. It's sort of been flat under Obama, and and the polls. I really don't believe much of the polls because they lie. This is the dot-com bubble. There's the housing bubble. And now it's even bigger. We call that the everything bubble. And this is housing prices then and now. You can see it sort of looks, that's the peak in 05. These are different cities around the country, from Atlanta, Boston. Seattle is right here. That's the Seattle one. So just wait a little bit. The prices will be coming down. The fake left-right paradigm, get outside the box, my friends. This is the last guy who took on the money changers. That was JFK. Of course, nothing to see there. No, he didn't have his head blown off from the front, even though they said that was a coup d'etat, a warning to everyone that comes in. Here's some legislation in Alaska requiring labeling of GMO salmon will now be reversed, I should say, by the Senate's fake labeling bill. And we do not even want to, I mean, this is insane to let that genetically, we've been doing articles about that for years. To let that fish go in the wild is pure insanity. Pure insanity. But hey, this is what they said they would do to us. Here's some GMO food fed to rats. Hey, don't worry about it. We're the elite. We know what's best for you. I mean, we don't eat that crap, but you're just rats. This is what the elite think of us. We are just rats. And here's one of their guys who wrote a book 60 years ago saying through diet, the food, GMO, injections, look at how they're pushing vaccines and everything, and there's stuff in the vaccines. We've done stuff on that, and then through injunctions, and how this is, and that's why they've taken over the educational system to control and to warp minds. That's what you do. When you come in and take over a country, and we have been taken over, you take over your educational system, you take over the media. They already owned the banking. That's how they took everything over, because they bought it. But just a few percent of us gave us this country. And we can only lessen what is coming. There's a huge spanking coming. This is what they put in the water, sodium fluoride. Hey, of course they say it's good for your teeth. Well, in reality, look at the bag. It says one of the targets is the teeth. And that's why they've had to lower the amount that they put in because of fluoresces. Check it out. I've got a whole website on that on my main website saying take back or wake up Seattle. You can see it. No nation could preserve its freedom in the midst of continual warfare. There's another quote from Madison. False flag operations, guaranteed. Almost guaranteed to have some this week at the RNC. Speaking the truth in deceitful times is a revolutionary act. This is Building 7. Nothing hit it, magically fell down on 9/11. If you want to know more about it, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, this is 10 years ago, this clip came out, and next year you can see them starting to push chips more and more and more. Do not let them put a chip in you. Look outside the frying pan, my friends. They are turning the heat up. People are roasting and dying. The take-home message from 9/11 is that it was the anniversary of the very first protest from Mahatma Gandhi. Go to the Gandhi Institute, you can check that out. It was in South Africa. We must be the change that we wish to see in the world. That's right. This has to be a revolution of love. They will try to make it hate. We have to respond with love. Seek the truth and bear witness to it. This is going to come to the end. The slaughter of the innocents on the altar of lust and convenience. Let's take a look at Planned Parenthood openly talking about it on the 1-year anniversary. It's right in our face what they're doing, just how disgusting it is. And here it is.
So I say, okay, what are you looking to supply today? We've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver.
Dr. Deborah Nucatola, Planned Parenthood's Director of Medical Services, an abortion provider discussing how to collect body parts from aborted fetuses over lunch at a California restaurant.
So I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get it out intact.
So what ethicists said to me is, look, if they were giving women abortions and they changed their technique, they changed their practices in order to get the best quality tissue after the abortion, that's problematic.
For example, so I had 8 cases yesterday. And I knew exactly what we needed, and I kind of looked at the list, and I said, all right, this 17-weeker has 8 grams.
I just want to show the audience, this is what a 17-weeker looks like. This is not a pro-choice argument right now, or a pro-life argument right now, but this is a 17-weeker. And the gruesomeness of her attitude is what has resonated with people in watching this.
I knew which were the cases that were probably more likely to yield what we needed, and I made my decisions according to that too. So it's worth having a huddle at the beginning of the day, and that's what I do.
You know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So.
And if they can do a little better than break even and do so in a way that, you know, seems reasonable, they're happy to do it.
The 2 big charges are you profit and you commingle. Can you prove that those are untrue? And if not, why wasn't it done at the hearing yesterday?
What did that reimbursement go towards?
I mean, it's very clear what it is. It's getting samples.
Brain, kidney, thymus, liver, spleen, femur, bone marrow.
$75 a specimen.
How callous does one have to be to rob a baby of life and then charge others for the pieces of the corpse? This is beyond disturbing.
I want a Lamborghini. I said I want a Lamborghini.
I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it.
To the providers like Dr. Amna Dermish.
I always try and keep the trunk intact just by function of always trying to aim for the spine to bring it down.
When you watch some of those doctors talking so cavalierly about what obviously is human life, I think it's disgraceful.
The Planned Parenthood research director in Texas talking about extracting intact fetus cadavers and body parts from abortions, interspersed with talk about budgets and money.
When we're coming in and making it beneficial to you financially, you can frame it so that that's, yes, okay. If we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers. It's all just a matter of line items.
State health investigators have served subpoenas for records at several Planned Parenthood offices in Texas.
Texas does have hard evidence showing Medicaid fraud as well as violations of federal and state law
concerning abortion procedures.
Fox has exclusively obtained letters and documentation outlining the contractual arrangement between STEM Express, a top fetal tissue procurement company, and several abortion clinics, including 2 Planned Parenthood affiliates.
I mean, Planned Parenthood has volume.
Right.
You know, because they're a volume institution.
Right.
Another 50 livers a week.
A per tissue, price per tissue payment. That informs me that we're talking about the sale of a part and not some reasonable cost.
We have independent colleagues who generate a fair amount of income doing this.
Panel chair Marshall Blackburn alleges the contract shows STEM Express was allowed to illegally review patients' most private medical and personal information in order to match them up with the daily orders STEM Express had for specific fetal organs and body parts.
The technician then goes to the woman, befriends her, and coerces her to give consent by lying to her, and this is a Planned Parenthood order consent form.
I agree. That's an inappropriate statement that should not have been made on that form. I don't know who wrote it. That would not have made it past my IRB either.
I'm grateful to the entire Planned Parenthood family.
That's what I'm gonna live to be. I'm gonna basically crush below, I'm gonna crush above, and I'm gonna see if I can get it intact.
It's all just a matter of line items.
This will come to an end. And Jesus sees what's going on. He's given us all the graces we need, everything we need to stop it. The more that He has to stop it, because we sit back and watch and wait, the worse it's going to be for us. Prayer and fasting can change the world. It can stop wars. And I pray and I fast. I do my part as much as I can. I've given up everything to try and to warn people and to help people. That's all that I can do. And I'm at peace with what is coming. And it's not going to be pretty, what is coming. They've said what they're going to do. Their plan is to get rid of over 90% of the population. You study this at all, that's all they talk about. Plenty of information about that. Here's the Georgia Guidestones, where it's literally written in stone. Anyway, my name is Tim Bernard. Here's one good website, Infowars.com, Drudge, Natural News, bunch of great stuff. What's one simple thing you can do is tell people about this show. It's on Thursday nights from 8 to 9, Friday, and then it repeats at midnight, and the following day at 1 to 2. It's available 24/7 on the internet. That's how you can email me or write me a letter if you want. And remember what my Sioux brothers say. Matakawe we seen, we are all related. And may God bless you and your family and keep you and have a good week. And we'll see you next time.